Most firms are going to optimize for profitability over the long term. That's what economics say. We're in unique situations sometimes where we're optimizing for growth if we're willing to accept negative returns or negative profitability for the short term, right? And what we're doing in those conditions is we're buying market share. So we're growing, we're buying market share. And quite often, if you're able to depend on outside capital, that's the whole contract is let's go put capital in that we wouldn't have had otherwise in order to buy market share to make an asset that's worth more. It's a noble cause. Over the long term, according to just principles of economics, is not necessarily sustainable. At some point, that firm has to generate a profit or break even. And whether your short-term objective is revenue or your short-term objective is profitability, it actually works out to a lot of the same math. We need to know whether the next dollar that we're spending on one of our 7 channels is accretive. And clearly, in the very beginning of the spend in these channels, you can get both. You can get profitability and you can get growth. As you saturate the channels or run out of channels to spend on, you will eventually run out of profitable spend to deploy. And again, knowing that you're at that point and consciously spending past it is something that I totally endorse if that's your objective. If that's what you're doing, if you're setting out to do that, you still wouldn't want to spend into a low growth channel the majority of your budget, right? We want to have an awareness of that and spend on some of the other marketing channels that are actually fueling more growth. Even if we're going to run and spend in investors or some outside capital, let's still do it in a disciplined way. So in LiftLab, whether you're a high profit company and that's your objective or a high growth company and that's your objective, a lot of the math works out the same way. What we need to know is for every one of the places where we're spending in the media plan, every one of our marketing channels, every one of our tactics that's typically below the channel, or even some of the campaigns that are our major campaigns that we're spending on, we need to know has the profit or revenue coming from the most recent dollar invested, right? At a certain spend level, if we put another dollar in, is the revenue or the profit coming from that covering the cost? That's what we need to answer. And if we find a channel where that answer is false, we should be considering spending on one of the other channels. And we need that same information in the same reliable way. And what we're doing is we're putting the entire media plan under the same level of scrutiny, whether it's on the bottom of funnel or middle of funnel or top of funnel. We need to answer for that brand, that audience that they're targeting, that price point that they're selling at, that same question over and over again. Are we covering the costs with the revenue that's coming in?